So good afternoon once again, guys, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are calling in from. I appreciate you all for being here. It's another Saturday. My name is Michael Boyo, founder of MB Consult, a platform that has the objective to help professionals advance in their career, whatever that is, starting from helping you build a strategic career roadmap, to things like clarity in what you intend to do, or even if, in your search of job, how are you searching for jobs, strategies on searching for jobs. And then when you now have an interview, how do you prepare for that interview? And even when you now get the job, how do you continue to stay and keep the job? So these are all just, very wonderful things that, MB Consult is here to help, to guide and provide professional services. Now, this is my own commitment that, on a weekly basis, I'm out here. You can come here, ask me questions. Maybe I want to introduce myself a little bit. Just give me a sec. But this is my own commitment where you have my ears, you have my time, I'm available. I come out here with topics, but not necessarily because I have to just shove it down your throat, but it's just to get a conversation going. But you feel free to ask questions. And so for today, this is a title that we had started about, I would say about close to 4 weeks ago, before the end of last year, the changing landscape of work. And this is like the concluding part of it that we'll be looking at today. And just like I was saying at the beginning there, before we started the recording, was that during the week, I saw some conversation in the WhatsApp group. So while we are actually doing this, let me put this on the screen peradventure for folks that might not have joined any of our social media platforms. Please feel free to scan the QR code, and then you can join those communities accordingly while I continue talking here. So for those of you that may not know me, my name is Michael Boyo. My background is in computer science and engineering, and as such, I've been in tech ever since I left school, and I've continued to be in tech for about 2.5 decades right now. And I think that positions me credibly to be able to do what I do. What exactly do I do? Seeing that I've been around for a while, so I've always been that person that wants to see people do better, get better, advance their career in whatever shape or form. And how would I be able to help you? Obviously, tech is my fundamental domain. You can call it my first love. But I think because I've been around for a while, I'm able to actually add value even to your career, regardless of the fact if it's not in tech. I've also been in, like I had a webinar I did about 2 days ago on another platform, and I had to write my profile. And one of the things I put there was that I've lived, schooled, and worked in 3 continents right now. So I've worked in Africa, I've worked in Europe, lived there, and here now in North America. So, and that has provided me great insights as to, the cultural dynamics, the geographical diversity, and then even on a global scale, because I see myself as working on the global scale. I don't do whatever I do with regards to my career just because I'm in North America. No, I can think locally. I think globally, but I act locally. I'll say that again. I have to act in tandem with what's obtainable where I live, at any point in time. But my thought process, my mindset, I have a growth mindset. That's what it's called, a growth mindset. And that's what I tell everybody around me. You need to keep growing. If you are not growing, you are leaning. If you are leaning, one day you die. And I'm not talking about physical death. I'm talking about in your career. Your career can be dead on arrival if you are not investing in your career, right? And the world is moving on, and we need to keep moving on in line with best practice, in line with industry trends, in line with what is obtainable in your own career domain. You need to, one, know it, and then what are you doing about it? So we're just going to be looking at one aspect of that today, and I will try to kind of go through it quickly because I want to leave room for a bit of conversation around this whole thing around the job market, like what's happening. And it's just a conversation. It's not like as if I'm not here to promise something, right? But Again, we are all in it together. So let's get this ball rolling. So let's do a recap from the last time that we were here. So what's the recap? The recap basically is that we talked about, so when we say the changing landscape of work, what we are saying is that work as we knew it 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago is not the way it is right now. Key trends are shaping the world we live in right now. And that starts first and foremost right out of the bat with the digital transformation that is happening. Technology is reshaping every industry right now. And at the forefront of that technology right now that we can all relate with is the concept of artificial intelligence. Yes, we will never hear enough of it, right? Tell me about it. So digital transformation is coming into play in the landscape of work, how work is being done. People ask emphatically before, but no, that's not right. There would be some jobs that replace, and is encompassed repetitive tasks. If a task is repetitive, that means it doesn't really change. So you call an organization, and the first thing that you are going to hear is, welcome to ABC company. We offer XYZ products. How may I help you? If that's your job today, and maybe with a little bit of other stuff, then most likely that job can be replaced. You ask me why? Yes, it's because we can create an AI voice agent to actually do that job. Give that AI voice agent the same script, what you have been saying, because you are almost saying the same thing almost all the time anyways. So that kind of a job can be replaced. So maybe roles like receptionists, even some of the immediate customer service roles. And I'm sure most of us now, even if you go on any formidable website, there's a chat bot that is telling you, how may I help you? That's not a human being. More often than not, some of them are still human beings, some organizations, but most of them are not. It's not a human being. And it depends when if you want to know whether it's a human being or not, ask that person, ask a question that doesn't have a direct response. And that's when you know if the response, if that thing will give back to you, you know, no, this is not a human being, right? So, but what for me is critical is that hopefully you are in a role that may not be replaced by a human being. Does that mean you are off the hook? I mean, by AI, does that mean you are off the hook? No, you are not. You know what's going to be your own problem? Those that can leverage AI are the ones that will replace you on the job. Then the question is, what are you doing about it? Again, we're just having a conversation here. And that's the way I'm already thinking about my own career. Nobody's asking you to become an AI expert. But at the same time, you don't want to be an AI novice. That's also a bad place to be. Don't tell me, oh, I don't even know anything about this AI. If there's anything that you can learn right now for free on the internet, it's about AI. It's everywhere. Fed up. Everywhere you everyone Microsoft, Oracle, they are all about it. Globalization, right? The ability to work with diverse teams across the globe. That's also beginning to shape the way the landscape is. 20 years ago, I asked the question here about 4 weeks ago. Would you ever think that you'll be working in the same office with somebody that is not living in your city? Nobody did that, right? Even where we all come from. Most of the time, the people you are working together, oh, you are going home. Okay, let me go with you. But can you say that today when your colleague is in another country? Are you going to say, oh, yeah, are you ready to go home? And you say, okay, I'll meet you downstairs. Let's go together. No, that's not the case anymore. That's not the way we are living anymore. Even look at us on this call right now. I don't think maybe apart from me and Jocelyn, every other person, they are in different, unique cities. So we can't even just go outside our house now and say, I'm going to see you on the street. That's the changing landscape of work. Then the expectations from the work itself is also changing, right? It's no longer business as usual. The expectation is that, you need to do more with less. And what do I mean by that? Even look at job descriptions these days. At times I look at job descriptions and I'm like, this is a 4-man job. And they still want job title. They need this, they need that, they need that. And then the way they sneak in other things, XYZ is an asset. If you really don't need it, don't put it there. As in, I'm talking to the employer now. But it's just a sneaky way. You see a BA role, they will say having PMP is an asset. And then you run again, you go and do project management professional certification. That's the landscape. And then there's the gig economy. The gig economy, we are talking about, freelance work. You don't have to do regular 9-to-5 jobs now. You can actually go register on certain websites where you can actually position yourself with your profile, your expertise, and you can set a price. And people will come there like a marketplace and say, oh, I'm looking for somebody that can help me design website. I'm looking for somebody that can help me proofread documents. I'm looking for somebody that can help me like review products. I'm looking for somebody that can help me test websites. I'm looking for somebody. Yeah, there are websites like that where you can register and say, this is my expertise. This is what I can do. It's not a normal 9-to-5. People come there, they pay you per hour. They give you tasks, you do it, you get paid, and that's it. That's key trends now shaping our economy. I mean, our workplace. Impact of technology. I talked about that, right? There's a lot of automation going on right now. Again, it's not business as usual. I tell people, yes. Would you assume that everybody has a ChatGPT account? No, not everybody. There's a lot of people that don't even with all the craze with ChatGPT, they say a lot of people that still don't know about ChatGPT. Or maybe they just heard about it, but they don't even have an account on it. And I'm not blaming them, no. But I'm just saying that we need to endeavor to what? To be in tandem with the changing landscape of the work or the marketplace that we find ourselves in these times that we are in right now. Ignorance is not an excuse. In terms of even basic work tools. Now, when I look at people, even some JDs, they will still be saying proficiency in Microsoft Excel, Word, PowerPoint. As basic as that is, can you check that box? Are you actually proficient in PowerPoint and Excel? Are you? I'm not asking you now, but are you? Now, ideally, these things should not even be coming up in JDs anymore. You know what is starting to find its way into JDs now? Ability to leverage relevant AI tools is now featuring in job descriptions. And you know why, right? Even the employer too wants to do more with less. To the so-called developer to take.
Sorry, Mr. Mark, your network has been having issues over here.
On now.
Hello, Gamma. Yeah, your network has been having.
Yeah. Are you hearing me now? I'm hearing you.
Yeah, it's better now. It's better now, but you were cut off. It's better now.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. Okay. All right. So what I'm saying is that within the next 5 to 10 years, statistics have it that developer roles will cut down by at least 40%. Most of us have always believed that, oh, I wish I know how to do software development. It looked like the go-to. Most of the time, by at least 40%. What it means is that you no longer need 10 developers. You fire 4 of them, and what you needed those 4 to do can now be leveraged with AI tools like ChatGPT. Meaning that the remaining 6, instead of them doing 100%, 40% of their work can actually be churned out using AI tools like ChatGPT. So if that is what the statistics is saying, the question again then is that what are you doing about it? Right? And then we talked about the evolving skills landscape. This is the call to action for everything we've said so far. What are you doing about skills acquisition? And I keep telling people, I said, I've not had a full-time job. So when I say full, I've not been an employee for like about the last 5 to 7 years. So what that means is that I'm not an employee that have benefits from an organization, or that is like I'm waiting for them to send me on training. There's nothing like that. I'm an independent consultant. So what that means is that if I don't train myself, there's no organization that is going to come and say they want to train me. Again, I'm talking about me. So do you really think because of that, I'm going to now tell myself that, oh, no, I don't have money, I don't have time, I don't have this, I don't have, and then I don't upskill? But that is me, right? I'm now asking, what are you doing? Have you even taken the time to ask yourself, what are the in-demand skills in your own area of career? Have you done something I do every year, which I call a skills gap analysis? When I ask you, what kind of a job are you looking for? Nobody tells me they don't know. You know, right? Because it is that job that will pay you 6 figures. Fantastic. But when I now ask you, do you have the skills to do that job? Then most people don't answer me. And then I'm like, so how do you want to get the job? Magic or fairy tale? It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. When you read a job description and you realize that half of what is in that job description is sounding gibberish to you, but that's the kind of job you want, though, of these 2 things, you are like, this job is too hard. I'll just leave it. I won't apply. Or you are asking yourself, what is actually this particular knowledge all about? This particular skill, what is it all about? If I don't know it, can I go and learn it? Because this is the kind of job I'm looking for. So that's your own response. And that's on you. Somebody approached me a few days ago that she has an interview coming up and she wanted to book my time for an interview prep. And I said, okay, send me the JD. And when the person sent me the JD, I said, okay, it doesn't look anything complicated. And then at the bottom of the JD, there were certain skill sets that were requested for. So I just sent her a message and I said, do you have these skill sets? And she said yes. And she sent me evidence that she's done certain boot camps with regards to those skill sets. And she's actually done projects with regards to those skill sets. She responded almost immediately. And she sent me the artifacts. That's what we are saying. It's not like you now say you are hoping and praying they will ask you the question on that particular skill set. No, don't do that. You don't have control over that. Many times we write in our CVs, I'm a lifelong learner. It's like a common line, right? I'm a lifelong learner. I'm asking you, what are you learning? I asked the question the other day. Okay, tell me exactly what are you learning right now? When last did you attend any form of training? Okay, let me look at the attendance list right now. Let me hear from you guys. What are you learning right now? I want someone to respond. Within the last 1 week, what new thing have you learned in your career?
Okay.
Anyone?
This is
Yes, please.
Daniel. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Yesterday I went through LinkedIn, or day before yesterday, I went through a LinkedIn course that is AI for project managers, and I did that course. It's 1 hour plus. I learned much on how to use AI to get risk for project, how to use tax and all those stuff today. Yeah, all more I did an AI because I really does AI.
Uh,
I,
Sorry, Daniel. I don't know. Is it my network that's not stable? I'm not hearing you well. I don't need that feedback. Is every other person hearing
I can
Daniel
hear you.
properly? No, but I want to
I
hear.
can
But I
hear you.
want
I
to.
don't know if you can hear me.
I
Can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. Yes, I can hear you. But you were cutting out,
Okay.
and I just want to ask whether it's just me.
No, it's not only you. I think it's
Okay,
Daniel's
then.
neck. Yeah, it's your
Okay.
network.
I don't want to be sure. That's all. Okay, but Daniel, I can hear you now. You can please go ahead.
Okay, so I said 2 days ago I was able to run through an AI approach for project managers. And
Yeah.
the reason I'm doing that, like I said, I just fell in love with the AI, and I'm learning AI for this month. For this month alone, I have done prompt engineering. I've done AI for project managers. I've done AI for small scale businesses, and these are prompts that I'm also testing to show that they are working. And as they are working, I open my own folder to also put them there for future references. So basically, those are the three things that I've achieved. Those are the three.
Yeah,
Uh,
things
uh,
that you've learned in the recent time. So fantastic, Daniel. Now, quick question to you. Did you pay for any of those?
Nada. I didn't do anything.
Nada. So are we all hearing? Those were all free. In fact, I've had like browsers opened, like 3 or 4 different trainings that I said I will go and do. I've not even been able to get to it. And they are all free, full-blown courses. Again, we are just talking about AI. There are so many. I'm not saying everybody should go and be doing AI, but even in your own field, that skill that you don't know, that you don't have, that you've not learned, and you're looking for a job that will always have that skill in the JD, it's not going to go away. Oh. It is you that needs to go and learn it. The employer is not going to reconstruct their job description. That is what we are talking about when we are saying evolving skills landscape. Can I get feedback from the group with regards to what we've said so far? Any thoughts? Anyone on mute and speak? It could be a question, it could be a comment. Anyone? Okay, let's keep going. Now, diversity and inclusion in the workplace. Again, these are things I will run through very quickly. In some quarters, it's called DEI. Some people just call it D&I. So diversity, equity, and inclusion. What do we mean by that? The world has since become a global village. You are having people, cross collaborate at a global level. Diversity isn't just a moral imperative anymore. It is now a business advantage. We all work with people that are located, that are geographically dispersed. We all work with geographically dispersed teams right now at work. That your colleague is in another continent, is in another country, is in another time zone, but you are still collaborating to achieve a common goal. That's the way the landscape of work is changing. And you have to change with it, right? What are we saying? Greater focus on equity and belonging. You can't look down on anybody because he's from South America. No, you can't do that. You can't look down on somebody because he's from the backside of sub-Saharan Africa. No, you can't do that. You can't look at somebody because he's from South Asia. No, you can't do that. You can do that in the corner of your bedroom, but not in the workplace. No. Right? Inclusivity. Inclusivity. You need to make people feel belong, even in that team. You can't say, oh, because this woman is always wearing something to cover her head, you feel like she's weird. No, you can't do that. That's the world we live in right now. You need to look at the benefits of having a geographically diverse team, or a geographically dispersed team, or a cross-cultural team, culturally diverse team. That's what we're having now. You jump on a call at work and you just see names from different ethnicities. That's the way it is. And I think the common ground is that everybody tries to find an English name for themselves. Everybody comes with an English name. That's okay, right? So you need to look at what is the advantage, the benefit. There's innovation. Everybody comes with their own ideas. We can't all think the way you think. We need to have different perspectives. There's creativity, and that helps for better decision making because we now have options. We have different mindsets, different perspectives, right? We are creating inclusion. Inclusion. We're not going to say, oh, we're only hiring Black people here, or we're only hiring colored people here, or we're only hiring Asians here. Yeah, it still happens, right? Yes. Systemic racism, yes. But we can't just, come to the rooftop and call it out. There has to be tangible evidence, right? We can't be just emotional about it, and organizations are even being very, very deliberate about things like this, that it is even part of policy formulation to ensure that there is what? There's diversity, there's equity, and there is inclusion, right? Some organizations are actually promoting that. Rise of remote and hybrid work models. Again, I said it some time ago that would you have imagined the world coming to an era where remote work would be a thing? 10 years ago, would you have imagined you could work from home? No. But the world is changing, right? The landscape is changing. Yeah, I know that fully remote roles are now even becoming a little bit challenging to find because it looks like post-COVID, organizations are now kind of demanding that people need to come back on site. And I can tell you for free that it is much more of a real estate issue than a work performance issue. And what I mean by real estate, all the high risers in downtown, shareholders are not going to have the organizations, those have empty buildings, not being used for anything. And those empty buildings are costing an arm and a leg. There has to be justification. And these are just one of the few reasons why workers are being asked to come back to work. It's not like as if it's less expensive. No, it's actually more expensive for the workers to work on site. But again, there are also people that don't do well when they are working in silos in the comfort of their homes. So different strokes for different folks. Some people are still able to perform very well even while they work remotely. But some don't do well working remotely. And there are statistics to back that up as well. Remote work has since become a norm, offering flexibility and attracting global talent. There are people with, critical and expert talent that are not even going to work except for remote work. So some people will tell you, no, I'm not coming back in person. I can do my work wherever I am, especially if your work is within the cloud economy. That means as long as there's the sky and there's internet connection, you can actually do your job. So what are we saying? What are the benefits? Flexibility, wider talent pool. You can get people, because some people just tell you, you know what? So again, like I said, you can have somebody working for you from the remote village in China, and it doesn't really matter that you are here in North America, as long as they get the job done. cost savings as well. Some organizations, so that's why in some job description now, you will see the terminology, what they say, remote first. That's what they call them. Organizations that promote remote work, they call themselves, we are a remote first organization. So that means that except you truly feel like you can't perform at your best while you work remotely, if they have an office, they'll say, okay, you can come to the office if you want. If you feel more comfortable to work amongst other people, you want to go for lunch with people and do all that cool stuff, then you can come. But they call them remote first only. Even if you go on LinkedIn, if you are looking for fully remote roles, yeah, you need to do your criteria properly. And that's what you should put in your job alerts, that I want roles that are fully remote. Some roles are hybrid and some roles are on-site. So even when the recruiter is placing the job ad on LinkedIn, they need to select all those filters that this role is on. Like for someone like me now, I don't even think I can go back to a fully on-site role anymore. So if I have to be looking for any job on LinkedIn right now, my filters are first and foremost fully remote or hybrid. And if it's going to be hybrid, it needs to be in my city because I'm not going anywhere. Right? So this is the changing landscape of work that we all need to embrace. Now, it doesn't come with its own challenges though, right? What are the challenges? Maintaining engagement. Everybody is on calls now. How do we know you are actually fully and actively engaged? There's the art of active listening. Are you listening actively? Or when they call your name and ask you a question, the first thing you say is, oh, sorry, can you repeat that? Because you were not listening in the first place, right? It's also challenging to collaborate. And that's where you now have tools like Mural, Miro, collaboration softwares, applications, to just make sure that people are actually contributing and not just that you are talking to a group of people that are not even listening or participating with you because you are across the digital wave. Work-life balance. I tell people that I've been working remotely now for like how long? About 3-4 years. And you know what? I've gotten so used to it that if you now tell me to come to the office, I feel like I will tell you point blank that any day I have to go into the office will be a less performing day for me. And I can tell you why. It means that I mean, at the very least, I'm losing 2 hours of work. The 1 hour to get to work, the 1 hour to get back home. That's time lost for work. Right? So, but if I were at home, instead of me leaving home at 7 to get to work at 8, I can actually start working at 7. I can. And then instead of me to be coming back home from work at 4 to get home at 5, I can be at home and work till 5. So any day I have to go into the office, for me, I perform less than when I'm working from home. But for somebody else, it can be absolutely the other way around. You know why? Some people just go take a nap in the middle of the day because they're working from home. Yeah, they don't have meetings and they go take a nap. Again, I'm not calling out anyone, but some people actually cannot even be self-disciplined enough to be able to work unsupervised or to be able to work without people around. Or maybe you have your home dynamics does not give room for you to actually focus. So truly, some people will tell you, you know what, I can't really work from home because there's so much distraction. And that's okay. So they will go into the office. But you need to ask yourself, how are you responding to this changing landscape of work? I talked about collaboration tools. Do you know how to use some of these tools? Have you even asked yourself? If they're not even using it in your office, do you even know them? And if you know them, do you know how to use them? Because your next job might just need you to actually know how to use them. Because that is what is obtainable in the landscape of work that we find ourselves right now. Let me stop talking for a while because I don't want it to be like as if this is a training. No, it's not a training. Any thoughts on what we have discussed so far? From anyone? Any thoughts? It's a quiet crowd. Let me see whether I have any friend in the audience. Just give me a second. Interesting. I'm going to call somebody I don't know. Sunday for long, sure. Are you there? Are you able to speak? Okay. What about Soji? Are you able to speak? Hello? Soji? Okay. What about Sam? Are you able to speak? Sam? I'll come to you, Juliet. Just give me 1 sec. Soji, are you able to speak? Oh, some background noise here. Okay, thank you. All right, Juliet, go for it. Thank you.
Yeah, hello everyone. I don't have any contribution, but I wanted to ask question and pick our brain, considering that politics and politics affect policies. On the long run, it's now affect work life, and you're talking about remote and hybrid. It made me see especially the politics happening in the US right now, considering that Trump is in support of return to office, and most big fortune tech are already doing that. And Canada, I see it as a country who it lives in the shadow of the big brother US. They're always copying.
Correct.
And then there is that ripple effect that would start going global. So I am wondering, and I'm trying to pick everyone's brain here. What do we think? I know that skills are very important, but then when office begin to insist, and most of these big companies are beginning to insist that maybe they are paying you very good salary, beginning to insist that you have to come to the office. What are the plans, especially for people who don't like hybrid model or fully on-site model? And to be very sincere, I am seeing most job right now. You see very few that are exclusively remote. You are seeing hybrid, and the hybrid to me sometimes it doesn't even make sense. Like you are in the office almost 3 to 4 days a week, and they just give you 1 day to work from home. So I was in a discussion that mentioned that this is a way of creating more racism that people have overcome over time, and bringing it back, or bringing back that insubordination at workplace and all of that. So what are our thoughts? What can we do to help ourselves, to equip ourselves, even if you find yourself in hybrid or fully on-site workplace?
Thank you very much for that question, Juliet. So I'm going to open it up to the floor. Let's get responses from the floor. Anyone? Those are valid, very valid points that you raised there, Juliet. Anyone that may want to chime in? Again, there's no right or wrong here. As in, no one. Okay. Now, so Julia, let's take it 1 step back, right? So when COVID hit, so we are talking about we here in the West. So let's not talk about like back home in Nigeria and all that. So we were not allowed to co-interact, right? So we couldn't even go to work, we couldn't go out, and that was when the whole concept of remote work started. There has been remote work before COVID. Some people have actually been working remotely for the longest time, but it wasn't just a thing, right? It wasn't popular, it wasn't common. But here is COVID, we all needed to, isolate, and then the need for remote work, right? And that became the new norm. Now, I can tell you that one of the biggest reasons why people are now being called back is shareholder pressure. So you take, for example, any top organization that has a multi-rise building in downtown, whatever downtown, Toronto, Edmonton, Calgary, whatever, it's irrelevant, right? And most of the time, they don't own those buildings. Most of the time, it's leased, and they are paying millions of dollars. Now, the question is, when they go for the AGM and they are like, oh, real estate is costing 100 million. The question is, what are we using it for again when people are all working remotely? And It's like, oh, that's a very good point. And I can tell you that that's one of the biggest reasons why organizations are now like, they need a justification to keep spending that money. Now, you may say, oh, but why can't they just forget it, sell it off? It's not that simple, right? It's not a 1-bedroom apartment. And some of these leases are like 25-year lease. Even for you to get out of the lease may even be more expensive than you paying the rent, right? So they need to keep it there. Now, that's number one. Number two, when you now ask to say that, how do we adapt? Yes, I hear you. You rarely find fully remote roles now. And roles that are fully remote now are literally most of the time roles that are very techy roles, most of the time. So let's not talk about like all these call center, whatever. Let's leave those ones somewhere, because those ones are not even going anywhere in person. Most of them don't even have offices in the first place. So if, let's say, Apple, WestJet, they're saying, oh, they need a call center rep, and you're the guy that will say, welcome to WestJet, blah, 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 what can I do for you? They don't even want you in any office anyway. They don't even have the space for you. So those ones they will forever be like that. But we are talking about normal jobs that you and I do, right? That today, most of those jobs are no longer fully remote. They are now hybrid. Some do 2 in the office, some do 3, like you said, some are actually doing 4. And you're asking yourself, is this hybrid anymore? Right? Now, to say, what do you do? Unfortunately, I don't think we can do much, apart from the fact that from the trends or the patterns that I have seen, and it's just what I have seen, is that roles that you still find that are fully remote are roles that literally doesn't really require so much of cross collaboration. So like development roles. So if you're a developer, all you need to do is just get work assigned to you. And if the instruction, the user story or whatever is clear enough, you can literally just go away and do whatever you need to do and come back and say it's done, right? So roles like that, you still find them for remote. But most roles that require a high level of cross collaboration, most of those roles at best, you're going to find them hybrid. And more often than not, they're going to be fully on site. Now, to say that, oh, do you want to pick and choose? I don't really think there's much flexibility there, except if you are just being very adamant to say, you know what, I'm not going back to the office. There are people that will literally say, oh, now they're asking us to come back. I was in a role that was fully remote in a previous role. It was fully remote all through COVID. And when COVID started, was going away, we went back, they said 2 days. And then from 2 days, it became 3 days. From 3 days, it became 4 days. And at that point, everybody was like, what the heck, right? And, at some point, I moved on from that role into something else, right? So, but anyways, that's my own response, that it all has to do with what kind of role either you are in or what kind of role you want to be in, based on what the organizations are saying. Are they open to, hybrid, remote, as it were, or is it just only on site? So, whatever it is, and if you are working in the office, obviously it's a whole different dynamics. You now need to be cautious about your interactions with people, because before on a call, you can, kind of hide behind the curtains and nobody's seeing you and all that. Even the way you present yourself, so all of that is a whole different ballgame. I get it, right? And to be honest with you, I don't also feel like, working in an office anymore, to be honest. But if I can do that, fine. If I can't, I have to take whatever I get. So that's my own viewpoint. I hope that helps. Okay. Let's see. Let's get this one out so that we can talk about. So now this also try to help, answer some of the things you were talking about. Importance of career adaptability. Navigating career shifts with agility and confidence. Agility is that how open are you to change? Just coming from agile. Agile is change, is pro change, right? The customer says, oh, can we do it this way? And you're like, oh, we need to change again. Yes. Oh, okay, that's fine. It's just a 2-week sprint. We'll implement it in the next sprint, right? So it's agility. How adaptable are you, right? Okay. And then we're now saying, what are the strategies in this, again, evolving and changing landscape of work? Upskilling. Somebody talks about learning, relearning, and unlearning. You need all three. You need to learn. You need to unlearn certain things that you've learned in the past that are no longer relevant. Then you now need to relearn certain things that it's like you're brushing up. And just like Daniel was saying earlier, how often do you take advantage of some of these free trainings for you to upskill? And that's why I'm a strong advocate of upskilling. Now, upskilling can mean, do you need to go back to school? Upskilling can mean, do you need to go for a structured training? Upskilling can mean a lot of things, but the key thing is you are upskilling. And I always say, go for something free first. Exhaust the free routes first before you go and pay for anything. Because I tend to have this belief that whatever I want to pay for, if I look for it very well, I might actually get it for free. But again, training is good because it gives structure, it gives focus. It makes you laser focused to learn something in a time frame. It can be actually more effective. Like I said, I have my browser open with about 3-4 trainings on generative AI. I've not got into it. If I was in a training that was like 6 to 7 every day, I'm sure I would have done like half of it by now. So yeah, do whatever works for you, but you cannot afford not to upskill. Network. Platforms like this are part of your networking. You want to be out there asking questions. Hopefully somebody out there may have something, 1 or 2 things to say to help you out with whatever you might be going through. Personal branding. What are you doing about your personal brand on whatever social media platform? Starting with LinkedIn. What are you doing? Is your LinkedIn optimized for the kind of role that you are looking for, right? And then, are you leveraging platforms like this for personalized guidance? And I will talk a little bit about this in a minute. A lot of people come to me and say, oh, I need a mentor. I need guidance. What are you doing about that? Don't assume. I tell people, don't assume somebody is your mentor. No, it's an assumption. Don't assume. The mentor needs to know you are his or her mentee. And you need to be sure that this person is my mentor. There has to be some level of contractual engagement and agreement, because I'm not your mentor if there is no checkpoints. You are not getting instruction from me, or you are not running things by me, and we are agreeing that, oh, we're going to be checking in with each other on a particular cadence. If it's like, oh, when you see me, or when you, no, they're not being deliberate. You need to be deliberate about it. You need to be accountable to someone. Even if that person is your peer. Oh, I'm going to do this exam next week. What if you don't do it? If you didn't tell anybody and you don't do it, nobody's asking you, right? And that's what most of us do. I won't even tell anybody. I don't want them to know. So that if I don't do it, nobody is breathing down my neck. Now, do you really think you are helping yourself or you are not? You answer for yourself, right? So you need things like that, right? And then, before I go into an open mic, very quickly, call to action, right? And we're going to go into a bit of conversation now that, these are just things that, are you ready to navigate and thrive in the changing landscape of work? If truly you need help and you believe MB Consult can help you with it, then reach out, right? Reach out. Reach out. If you need to have that 5, 10, 15-minute conversation for clarity, and then we can now say, oh, I think it's better you go book a mentor. We can have that 5, 10-minute call, right? But at the end of the day, you need to be deliberate, right? We also have pre-recorded interview prep videos that you can subscribe to. So at times people come to me and they are like, oh, Mike, I have an interview tomorrow. Oh, sorry, I can't accommodate you. But I'm now saying that I have curated videos in an archive, in a repository that you can subscribe to on a 90-day basis, on a 6-month basis, on a 1-year basis. These are all on the MB Consult website. Something that now I am serious about it, that I've come here to say, oh, personalized mentorship and coaching. I was hoping to say, oh, let me kick it off with a minimum number of people. But the people that are ready are actually on my neck now. And they're like saying, Mike, we need to get going. And I've decided that, you know what? I'm going to keep this open for just a few days from now. And we're just going to start. 1st of February, we are starting. And some people are already on the lists. People have already signed up. So what am I talking about when it comes to the 90-day personalized coaching? This is what we are saying. You are going to be getting clarity, career clarity sessions. We are going to work on your own strategic roadmap. We're going to develop one and provide you guidance for execution. Again, within that 90 days, we can look at your resume, your LinkedIn. If peradventure you have an interview coming up, we can look at that as well, right? And then you have access to pre-recorded interview prep videos, which ideally this will cost you at least $150 for the 90-day access. If you have to do an interview prep session, just one, that's going to knock you off about 80 Canadian right now. But to get all of these, starting February 1, email that email address. Now, I came out here and I said, doing it at this price is way already discounted. I know people that, with all sense of humility and responsibility, are not at the same pedigree as I am, that charge $1,200, $1,500 for things like this. But when I came out here and I said $750, people reached out to me and said, Oga Mike Eboyo, Mr. Mike, that please do something for us. We are community members. And I said, okay, I would see what I can do. And I'm now saying it's just going to cost you $500. But you need to sign up latest by Wednesday, 29th of January. Because I'm not waiting now. I'm just going to go ahead. I don't want to lose traction with people that are ready. It's a disservice to them. Right? This was supposed to have kicked off last month. And I felt I want more people to be able to take advantage of it. And that's why I'm now saying, okay, you know what? We are good to go, and we'll go with what we have. That's fine. I would rather do something and do it well than just, not do it well because of people that were not even serious in the first place. So that's going to kick off 1st of February. And if you are truly interested, you can actually go purchase it right now. It's on the portal for $500. You are in, right? And if you want to say, oh, I want to get a little bit more information, email at this email address and somebody will connect with you. Okay? I don't know. Any questions, any comments, any feedback? Let me try and look at the chat now. Anyway, why is this crowd so quiet today? Anyone? Let's quickly do like 10-15 minutes conversation. So in the course of the week, you know what? I would want to pause the recording here so that we'll have those conversations. And for those of us that just joined, again, if you are not in our community, please feel free to connect with us on all of these channels. And I would really want to enjoin you to please do that. If you are not part of the community, the online community, please scan this. If you've not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that. We'd really appreciate that. And please follow us on LinkedIn, on our LinkedIn page. Please also do that. I would personally appreciate you doing that. Okay. Thank you for doing that.